Hello everybody, my name is Shaky-Handed, and welcome to my first ever Minecraft YouTube video. I've been playing Minecraft for a little while now, and really enjoying myself, and figured why not share what I've been up to. So I started a new 1.20 world, and this is my introduction to it. I've done a little bit of starter work, made a little starter base, a couple farms that are essential, a little bit of mining, a little bit of etc. Beginner game stuff. Got myself, suited up with armor, an enchanting table, another portal, the whole deal. And so my first video, I thought I'd show you around, give you a little tour, introduce you to me. So let's go. And welcome to my humble abode. This is my little starter house. It's quite nice, if I do say so myself. It's, a little bit of red, a little bit of dark to sort of contrast this beautiful jungle environment that we're living in. I 100% regret living in the jungle. It sucks. There are so many creepers. It's so bad. Yeah, this isn't my first starter house. Let's just leave it at that. I did have a different house before this. It did not look as nice. I didn't like it. I was not necessarily mad that it got blown up, but it did get blown up, and that was kind of annoying. It led to a drastic change in environment. I got rid of quite a few trees, put a lot more lighting down, as you can see by the sporadic spreading of moss, used to hide torches, and rebuilt my entire house from scratch because I didn't like it. Yeah. I like this much better. It's very cute, or I don't know if cute is the right word. It's quite regal. I like my little pointy bits on the roof. I like the palette. Of course, it took me a little while to get this palette because I had to go nether resource collecting, which is always annoying early game in Minecraft. Though I must say that the palette is a wonderful, beautiful contrast to the very, very lush green of this sparse jungle environment. I have ocelots instead of cats because I can't exactly function without cats near my house after getting it blown up. But there aren't any I haven't managed to tame any cats. And I'm sure there's lots of ocelots in the jungle. So I just have a couple ocelots. They're here of their own free will. I swear I feed them well. I feed them around the back here. I've got a little bit of a bamboo grove. And I've got my little sugarcane farm, some potatoes, some wheat, some sheep and cows, and anything I could ever really need. Really. You don't belong. So here's, the interior of my house. I have a little staircase that leads down to the basement. I have a little bit of a storage system, hopefully kind of organized. Smelting supplies, crafting bench, all the stuff you need. My beautiful little bed here. I'm going to put some books in these bookshelves eventually. I just haven't quite gotten around to it yet. Upstairs, I have a little bit of overflow storage, just because, you can't fit everything in only 6 double chests. And so I needed a little overflow storage space. And I also have a little basement down here. The basement isn't quite finished. As you can see, I've got a few features to fill in, but I am quite happy with this wall design that I came up with. It took me a few tries. Loving the cherry blossom wood, by the way. Absolutely gorgeous. The pale pink is really nice, but I really love the logs because this purple wood, fantastic. I have my nether portal here. I'll get back to that later. I have this little area here. This was a zombie villager that I caught and transformed so that I could have a mending villager with a pretty decent trade. It's also where I get my lanterns from. I can get channeling books, but I don't have a trident, so it's not really worth it. And I also have name tag trades. Oh, I should put my armor back on. And then behind him is this lovely, lovely Enderman who saw him from afar and decided that they could not live without this lovely villager in their lives, and they started courting, and I mean, you can see how that progressed. They ended up in the same boat, and this lovely Enderman has been demolishing my walls to place up a privacy screen so that they can live their lives happily wed in this boat in peace. I will see what becomes of that. I have yet to decide what I want this space to be for, but I don't want to break up the happy couple. So we'll see how that goes. Down here, we have our main hallway that branches off into 4 sections. I'm going to turn this into a map room of sorts, I believe. This is a map of my current area, because what I want to do is make maps at various stages in my progress, either of this area or whatever area I'm working on, really, and just show off what I've done, how far I've come, what I've been working on, what it looked like before I got here, what it looked like after, and really kind of document this whole process. You know, something enjoyable. On this other side here, this is where I've been farming some nether wart. I needed somewhere to put lava buckets down because I needed the buckets. Don't worry about it. And then back here, straight back, we have our enchanting setup. Lovely little room, chest of lapis, anvil, grindstone, whole shebang, whole deal. I might change up the decor in this room eventually. No, this whole house, this whole starter house is still kind of under construction, as you can see from these various basement areas, but also upstairs I might want to do a little bit of more decor and, you know, figure out how I want it to look, figure out if I like the way that I have things. Will you let me sleep? I'm not going out there. I'm not going out there. The last time I went out there because I couldn't sleep because of zombies, I accidentally let the entire horde into my house. They spawn camped me, and I spent the entire night dying to zombies over and over again and desperately running around my house before I got killed each time, trying to reclaim my stuff. It wasn't a good night. It was not a good night. So, you know what? I'm just gonna wait for a minute while the sun comes up, until the sun comes up, and then all the zombies will burn. And I don't have to worry about them getting into my house. Or going downstairs and zombifying my villager again. Because I really don't want to have to deal with that. No, thank you. No, thank you. I'm not dealing with that. So that's what I know. No! See, I'm a dumbass, right? I'm a dumbass is what I am. There we go. Figure out, you know, I really quite like this cherry blossom tree again here, but I feel like this area is a little bit bare. I feel like this wall could use something, some kind of detail. I'm not quite 100% sure that I like this door frame that I've got going on. I think I want to add some, you know, some bushes or greenery or something to the front, make this a little bit more cohesive as a piece of architecture in this land. Maybe, you know, spread out some of this ground texturing around it, something like that. I've still got some work to do, and that will happen with time, but I figure if I try and make everything perfect, then I'm never going to make this video. So I actually got the idea for the color palette of the main house from this nether portal construction, because I wanted to make it, you know, seem like the nether was sort of seeping through the portal and then into my basement. This whole basement palette was decided before I redid my house, and I wasn't really sure what I was going to do up there. I knew that I wanted it to be red, but I didn't quite have the blocks yet, and I hadn't quite gone to the nether yet. So I, you know, once I had the opportunity, I made my first nether portal. It wasn't this exact one, it was, you know, I think it was right here, you know, standard size, first peek into the nether. And I have the most insane luck. I've had the most insane luck with this portal. I could not have dreamed of a better starting portal. I didn't even think this would happen. I thought I'd go inside, you know, go to the nether wastes like you do, trade a little bit of gold with some piglins, get some fire resistance, you know, basic nether stuff. And then, you know, go looking for a fortress to get some blaze, etc., etc. But, I go into the nether for the first time. And I'm literally on a fortress. I'm on a fortress in a basalt delta. This is a huge fortress. I got blaze rods like immediately. I got the armor trim from the fortress ribs immediately. Like, I am not kidding, this is not a drill. This is the spawn location of my very first nether portal. How bonkers is that? Right? How bonkers? Oh, I should leave before I get fired at. Don't shoot me. Don't break my portal. I need to get home. So yeah, so that was how I got the palette. I saw the nether brick, really, and I kind of went, oh, I could use this. This could look quite nice. And then I remembered that I wanted a, you know, a reddish sort of contrast to my build because I was living in such a green environment, and went from there, really. I'm quite happy with it. Not all of these resources, and not all of my resources, came from the nether, of course. You have to go mining for that. So I have a little mine down here. I'm going to make a much fancier mine entrance. It just hasn't happened yet. This is just the place where my mine is. I built my house basically directly on top of a massive iron vein, which is incredible for my resource gathering because I've just been pulling more and more and more iron out of this chunk of mine, and there's still more that I haven't gotten yet. There's so much of it. I've gotten at least like 6 stacks, if not more. And that's lovely. I also discovered that there's a slime chunk, like some slime spawned as I was mining, and so I discovered that there's a slime chunk near here. I put that sign down to remind myself and figure out the coordinates. And I'll show you that project in a minute, because, I mean, why wouldn't you want a slime farm? But then we come to this. So I was exploring along this skulk, and in hopes that I might find an ancient city, because, I mean, the loot from those is great. And I haven't had a warden chase me yet. I've come across a few shriekers, but and it's, the darkness is absolutely terrifying. I hate it so much. But the loot in an ancient city, and also I just haven't seen an ancient city yet in person. So I mean, I was curious, right? You're curious when you see all this stuff around. And as I was exploring, I came up into this separate cave system and found a skeleton spawner. So I have this, and one of my next big projects is going to be working on this skeleton spawner and turning it into a XP farm, because that's really what I need here. I have a lot of resources covered. I have a lot of things that I need for early game Minecraft anyway, covered and set and done, but I really need an efficient EXP grinder. Now, I mean, I haven't gone to the end yet, so an Enderman farm is going to have to wait until that happens. I haven't even explored the Nether all that much because I haven't had to. I landed right on top of another fortress. But, for the longest time, and again, this was only a couple days ago that I found this. For the longest time, I didn't have a source of EXP, so I had a really rough time trying to enchant anything. So So in early game Minecraft, it's pretty important to get an enchanting setup going as soon as you can, which means that your first 5 diamonds are most likely going to be used on, you know, a diamond pick and an enchanting table, and then you get sugarcane farm going, get some cows, and do all your bookshelves as soon as you possibly can, because once you've got enchantments on your items, on your supplies, on your armor, it makes your life just so much easier. There's unfortunately a third requirement needed other than an enchanting table and bookshelves, and I mean you need lapis too, but while you're mining for diamonds you'll probably find some lapis. It's not that hard to get. But unfortunately, as well as 15 bookshelves, an enchanting table, and some lapis, you also need EXP. And for a very long time in this world, I didn't have a way to reliably get EXP. I ran around, I murdered a lot of livestock, I had smelted a whole bunch of the iron that I collected from my iron vein. I did a lot of stuff to try and get levels reliably, but unfortunately, I just had really shit luck trying to enchant my items with enchantments that I needed. The big one that I really wanted was Silk Touch, because it's incredibly useful for many, many things. Fortune, obviously, is a second one. I haven't quite got Fortune 3 yet, but we're working our way up there. So I had to come up with a way to mitigate this EXP problem. And this is what I came up with. It's a pretty standard water flushing general mob farm. I tweaked it a little bit, gave it a bit of a drop shaft so that the mobs would get funneled down towards me and my little AFK platform in the water, and then I could kill them for EXP and items. But it's really not the most efficient thing in the world. I still have a whole bunch of areas around here that I could light up that would help. I could also, make it bigger. I only had so many resources at the time, as you can see by the colorful banding. That's a hopper clock that doesn't use sticky pistons, just because oh, there it goes. It's a hopper clock that doesn't use sticky pistons because I didn't have access to slime to build this farm, and of course that desynced all of the dispensers on the inside, so it gets very inconsistent rates, very inconsistent flushes. It doesn't work as well as I want it to, and I think I'm probably either going to dismantle it in the future or reconstruct it, make it better, do like a whole heckin' lot of maintenance on it one day maybe. See if I can make it work for me a little better than it is right now. So I took down the coordinates of the slime chunk and the skeleton spawner, and hi Panda. I decided that they were close enough that I could dig out my slime chunk and make my little slime farm, and then have the entrance to the EXP farm I was going to make with the skeleton spawner, kind of come off of the wall over here. So I dug out the area, started digging out. I'm starting to dig out the area for the slime chunk. I'm using the moss technique to, hopefully make my life a little easier. It goes a little quicker than mining stone anyway. Even though I'll, turn up with a whole heck load of moss. As I was, doing this, I started digging over here, which is where the skeleton spawner is. And I was going to, get the whole initial setup of that done, the farm built, and, so I could start grinding some EXP. And I was digging the drop shaft that was going to lead to the farm proper, and I found this. I completely stumbled upon this by accident. I had no idea that these ruins, these archaeological sites, could spawn in jungles. I didn't really know what biomes they could spawn in, but I didn't know that a jungle was one. And I mean, this is the way down, the official way down. I never would have found it. It was underneath several tree layers. I never would have seen it. But I was digging my drop shaft for my my skeleton farm, and I stumbled upon it. And so I've done a whole bunch of excavating. I'm pretty sure that I've found all of the remnants here, all of the buildings, all of the pieces. This looks like this was some kind of main road, and this whole structure completely confused me. It's some kind of blacksmithing shop because there are a couple blast furnaces in it down here. But this was completely unexpected to find, and I'm kind of wondering if I should, make it a whole little project, do a little restoration, and maybe make this my little mine entrance. Maybe it'll be like a little mining town, and it'll have the slime chunk is right there, and then my drop shaft was literally going to lead through this village, I guess. And so maybe I'll dig this all out and do a restoration project. Maybe that'll be one of my next big builds, one of my next bigger projects. Getting all those supplies to turn this back into a beautiful, beautiful decorated street. No. Like this, I didn't even think about it when I moved here, but like the jungle is peak creeper habitat. It's all green. It's all green. It's all green. You can't see the creepers in there for shit. So, obviously there's still a lot of work I have left to do on my area. I'm gonna do a whole bunch of terraforming down here, hide these torches, make this ground a lot nicer. I'm just gonna kind of work slowly on the finishing touches of this base, not worry about it too much, not, hype over the small things too much, because I've got it, I'm pretty happy with it, and if I didn't do anything else, I wouldn't be mad. It is just a starter base after all. So when I see something I want to improve and I have a little bit of time and a little bit of motivation, I'll improve it. Like maybe I'll, do some hedge work or some ground stuff, fix fix the patchiness of this moss and this podzol block and everything. Work on my farm area, maybe put another tree, sculpt this landscape a little nicer. But I'm not that worried about it. And I already have a couple other big projects, like the archaeological dig. I think I'm going to, dig that all out, make that a really nice area. I've got to work on my farm. I've got to work on the slime chunk. There's a lot of stuff I'm going to do, a lot of stuff I'm going to work on. And I'll show you all my progress on those projects next time. So for now, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and have a great day.